Hello there, good evening and welcome to Hoshanda, the home of craft, hobbies and arts. Very excited to be spending the next hour with you because 8 o'clock means that we are launching our one-day special. Now, I'm Hayley West, and as you can see, I'm not on my own.
You're not, are you?
I'm not, thank goodness, because my knowledge of the garden you could put on the back of a postage stamp.
Well,
so.
that's about the size of my balcony, I tell you what. But we have got a fantastic one-day special for you. And what does that mean? A great price for 24 hours only. And, of course, then the price goes back up again. How about looking at a mini orchard for your garden? You might well think, Mark, my garden is nowhere near big enough to be having an orchard in it. Well, these are fabulous because they will either go into your pots or they will go into the ground, Hayley. That's the great thing about them. Should we reveal?
We have. Look at all
Here they are.
A whole set here. It's practically an orchard full that you are going to be able to plant up. Now, don't worry if it's a case that you don't have a large garden. I don't have a large garden, but I have some planters, some pots on my patio, and I'm actually growing a plum tree out on my patio. So you don't need a lot of area. Yeah. Brilliant.
Well, let's look at what we get then. So if you want to go for it, then you can jump in nice and early. First of all, we've got the Victoria plums. I mean, they look delicious and juicy. They're one of Britain's favourite plums to go for. They're gorgeous plums. Next to that, one of Britain's favourite apples, which is the lovely two-tone Braeburn apples. Once you've harvested these, they've got a shelf life of between 3 and 4 months. So you can harvest your apples, not worry about, oh, am I going to eat all those wonderful apples? I think you might get through them all. You've also got, in addition to that, your third tree is your gorgeous cherry tree, which are the Stella cherries, and they are absolutely luscious and juicy as well, aren't they? And then the final one are the conference pears. So you've got a pear tree as well. So all 4 of those trees for that one-day special price of £24.99. They'd normally be £29.99, but for 24 hours only, down in price, they come. About £6.25 a tree, Hayley. It's not bad, is it?
Oh, my goodness. And that is for years and years and years of fruit. For all of these amazing fruits. I've got fond memories of Victoria plums. I love cherries.
Yeah.
Cherry blossom, beautiful.
Well, such a lovely idea to grow your own. And grow your own is a really big thing right now. We're loving doing it. We're loving doing our own sewing, our own baking. We're kind of going back to our roots, aren't we? So growing your own food, as it is fabulous as well. Let me show you what you're going to be getting, because you might well think, well, it doesn't look like it's a very healthy tree to be, Mark. Well, it is what we call a bare root. And what that means is it's coming to you as what we call a dormant tree. So it's basically gone to sleep for the winter.
Which is brilliant, because it is a case that we can transport them easily.
Yeah.
You can get them home and then get them ready for, well, not harvesting straight away, because obviously they need to get used to their surroundings. But yeah, perfect time.
But now is the perfect time to plant. So that's your bare root, and we'll talk to you about how to plant and everything as we go through the hour. This is going to be around about 1.5 metres tall. So I'm 1.76 metres, I believe. When I looked at my passport once, that's what they told me, which is about 5'9". But this is about 1.5 metres, so that gives you a rough idea of the height. In fact, it's almost up to the top of my head, isn't it, that one?
That's it.
They're all going to be around about the same height. And they are. The other really important thing, of course, Hayley, is that these are the grade A commercial fruit trees. These are the ones that the growers use to harvest the fruit that we eat.
Wonderful. And you've got a whole set of 4 of these, and they are perfect for you to put in planters. If you've got pots, just make sure that you've got a nice large pot that you're going to be putting it in, so it is a case that you're not having to transfer it over to something else. But those Victoria plums look amazing.
Do you like a plum, Hayley?
I do. My mum and dad had the most amazing Victoria plum tree in their garden, so much so that the fruit actually looked like grapes. They hung, there was that much fruit, and the branches used to almost go down to the floor. Beautiful.
Just look at these. I mean, they are delicious. They're nice and soft as well. Obviously, they are not from this tree, just to be absolutely clear. This is just giving you an idea of what they might look like. Maybe not even this year, but in the second year is when you would expect to get the kind of harvest you would expect. In the first year they bed in, you'll get some fruit, but it's the second harvest thereafter is when they will really bear their fruit. And I must admit, my mum and dad did some fruit trees last year, just in pots. On their patio at the back, they had an apple tree, I think, and a pear tree, and they're absolutely fantastic. They really are. It's just so lovely having your own fruit at home.
It is. I think there's something very satisfying about taking a tree, a bare root tree, and kind of it becomes your baby, doesn't it?
Yes.
It grows in your garden and it produces that fabulous fruit that you might go on to create, I don't know, apple pies with. It could be apple sauces. You are using them right the way
Stewed
from the
apples.
beginning. Stewed apples.
I know.
Oh, lovely cinnamon in there as well. Beautiful.
Well, with plums, of course, you can make plum jam, can't you? Plums are also lovely when they're cooked in a bit of sugar as well.
Yes.
You can do plum crumbles.
Yes, all sorts.
All sorts of things. I mean, lovely as fresh fruit as well to eat as a lovely piece of fruit. Should we move to the apples?
Yes, I'm just trying to battling with this one because I think it might tumble over. There we go.
Oh, you've just knocked my plum over. There you go.
They've all got a mind of their own. Now, the Braeburn apple, as you can see here, Braeburn, again, as you've mentioned,
I'll
these
just hold
haven't
that
been
there, shall
grown.
I?
That's it. We'll swap over. You can hold. So look at that. Now, obviously, we haven't grown this again. It has come to us, but just to visualise what a Braeburn apple is like. Look at that. Beautiful colours in there, beautifully juicy. And it is a case of that you will be able to have the Braeburn apples, using them, as you've mentioned, stewed apples in pies, just as the fruit.
Well, as an
on its
eating
own.
apple, I mean, they're great eating apples, aren't they? And I think they're one of Britain's favourite apples.
They are, yeah.
And nice to say, like we said before, that you can store them for up to 3 or 4 months once you've harvested them, so you're not wasting any of your crop. So obviously they're coming straight from the tree. I mean, imagine the nutrients you're going to get from them as well.
Exactly.
Immediately harvested rather than being stored in refrigeration, as most of our apples are. And as someone said earlier on, very shrewdly, I think it was you, Hayley, there's no stickers on them.
That's right.
No, those little stickers you've got to peel off, because they're your apples, your very own apples, and how satisfying to have grown your own apples and your own plums. Let's move on to cherries.
Okay.
I'll try and move down a little bit, and well, not trying to knock these down.
They have got a
They're
little
attached
mind
to
of
me,
their
aren't
own at
they?
the moment. Now, the Stella cherry, as you can see, I mean, we've got a bowl of cherries here, just to show you just how amazing cherries are. I love cherries. And it is the case that you do get, oh, look at those.
I love cherries.
I could dive into these now, quite easily, and just leave you to it,
Well,
Mark.
they can be quite expensive, can't they, from the supermarket?
They can.
I must admit. You know, even just for a few grams of cherries, they're not cheap.
But cherry pie, I love cherry
Oh, yes.
pie. Or cherries, I love them with ice cream as well. If you've
Do
got
you?
an idea. Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
cherry pie filling, and then it's the case you use it with ice cream. Pancakes, all sorts of different areas. And just a lovely, lovely snack if you just want a handful of those. Don't forget, again, when you are growing them, if you're growing them, you've got the trees home, they have, they're kind of, you formed a relationship with them, you looked after them, and you're harvesting that fruit. Very, very satisfying.
Talking of harvesting, there's also something very clever about these trees as well, because you might be thinking, well, I don't want to be reaching right to the top to get the apple. I might have to stretch a little bit. The maximum height is between 6 and 7 feet, and they've been purposely grown to be more of a dwarf style. So they come to you as those 1.5 meters, about 5 foot something, then they'll grow to the 6 or 7, and then that'll be it. So you'll know then it's a contained tree, and if that's the space maybe you've got on your patio, or you've got a balcony where you want to have a lovely fruit tree, then hopefully that will accommodate that size for you.
So I don't need to invest in a cherry picker to get my cherries.
No cherry picker required. only you as being the cherry picker, Hayley.
I'll be the cherry picker then. I can cope with that.
So there's one more tree to have a look at,
That's
which
it.
are...
Now we've got our conference
pear,
pears.
yeah.
Now conference pears, again, beautiful fruit for you to be using at home. Obviously, in the same way as we mentioned before, fabulous as a snack. We've got some images here of pears that have been grown within a garden.
Look
From
at that.
trees similar to these. Now look at the size of the fruit that you've got there. Amazing. Look how healthy those trees are. Beautiful fruits. And these trees, I don't know the age of these. Now it's a case of that probably just within a couple of years you are going to be able to see fruit like this growing maybe in your back garden. It could be that you have this in a pot on your patio. You don't need a lot of room to be actually growing these.
What else have we got? We've got some other little pictures, haven't we?
Well,
Oh, no,
and
that's
then
it.
we just come to the, yeah, there we go. Look.
Oh, hello. Look at that.
Fabulous. Absolutely. They look amazing, don't they? Look at the fruit that's growing there. Now, we've got, as you mentioned, we've got 4 different types of trees here. We've got our plum tree, we have got our Braeburn apples, we've got cherries, and we've got those fabulous
Look at that's
conference
I'll tell you, that's
pears.
our hands. What a bumper harvest. What a lovely pair they are there. I mean, they really were, weren't they? Just had to be said.
Got to get that one
I
out
couldn't
of the way.
resist. But what a wonderful harvest that was. I don't know how mature that tree is. Hey, you know, the other thing is that they
Self-fertilising.
Fertilising.
So you don't need it to more than one.
They don't need another one to help them along.
That's it. And the thing is, when Anne was talking to us and showing us the photographs earlier on, you take so much pride from what you've actually, you've nurtured really, isn't it? You've taken these trees, and as you can see, they're in that kind of raw state where you have to plant them up, get them ready, nurture them,